All right, the summer break is over, or in Australia, it's the winter break, really.
Yep.
We're the flip side. So, and today, well and truly feels like winter is over.
Yeah.
In Australia, at least.
Day.
Yeah,
Beautiful day.
Glorious day. I think a perfect 24 degrees out
look at you
there.
in a shirt.
Yeah, no, we don't have to wear jumpers now.
No.
It's really quite lovely.
I just choose to, but I'm feeling a little warm.
Yeah, so everything's all bright and happy and sunny. Everything except for maybe Oscar Piastri's performance in the Formula One.
Which means everything in this room is also not very sunny and bright and happy.
Yeah, where the doom and gloom of winter has followed us through.
Yeah.
This is the Box Banter podcast. My name's Raymond. This is Timothy.
Formal name.
Timmy.
Yep, no, that's fine.
How much did you miss me?
Miss you?
Yeah, over the 3-week break. How much did you miss me?
You know what? I think our time has been spent more better.
More better,
yeah. We've been gaming a little bit. It's been a holiday from the pod. It's not been a holiday from you. It's been nice.
Lucky you, huh?
Yeah, lucky me.
I quite enjoyed the 3 weeks away from Formula One. I mean, I actually thought it was going to be 4 weeks.
You did.
And I was caught off guard last week when I was like, oh shit, Zandvoort's this weekend. Yeah. Oh shit, we're back.
I presented the idea of us doing an episode last week and you shut me down and said, no, we'll just do catching up, midweek.
I was like, you've earned it. Take another week off.
Yeah, we'll do next week, bit of midweek stuff, bit of a fluff episode. And I knew Zandvoort was this week, but I was like, you know what?
Oh, so you kept it to yourself.
Yeah. I was like, you know the calendar more than I do. Who am I to assume that you didn't realise? So, all right, I'll take another week off, boss. No worries.
Well, it was such a nothing off season. Like literally nothing happened. I mean,
even the Max news was only it was post when we would have done an episode last week.
Yeah, and even that news was no news really.
It's the biggest news of the off season, that's for sure.
Wow, is it? I mean, I think I remember earlier in the season when he hated Formula One and was crying about it, saying that I don't see him changing teams. I see him more likely leaving the sport.
Yeah, which was something. That's what I'm saying. The fact that he's staying and he's committed, 4 more years, that's, to me, I'm like, oh, that's a surprise. It's quite a long-term contract in any motorsport. I mean...
Well, it's to me, it reminded me of the name that comes to the top of my head is Giannis from the Bucks. I was going to try to say his last name. Do you want to give it a rip?
Intentinakumpo.
Ooh, do it again.
Intentinakumpo.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Every off season it was like, fuck the Bucks. I want out. I'm getting traded. And then there's all these trade rumors. Oh, wait, he's going to go to the Warriors. He's going to go to the Heat. And then
Giannis resigns.
Yeah, resigns onto the Bucks. And it was like, what did we go through all that
for? That was fun and all, but great.
Yeah.
It would have been funner if you left.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Max. And there was a part of me that was curious to see Verstappen in another machine and then what that would look like and whether he could be back to his old dominant self or whether he could reach that same sort of level. It's always interesting when someone who's had quite a lot of success in Formula One, whether they can replicate that in another machine with another team. Very hard to do.
Yeah.
But alas, not to be. He is a Red Bull man through and through.
It's good.
Seems like he's not going to leave. I respect the loyalty, but it is like, what did we go through all this bullshit in the media for? At the end of the day, nothing. Even, I don't know if you caught the interview with Toto when it was announced.
No.
But even he seemed like he was caught off guard. So, his whole reaction to it, to me, seemed like he was still in talks with maybe bringing Max over. Yeah. And then he wasn't maybe formally advised by Max or Max's management. And he was kind of just speechless and literally just didn't even know what to say. So it seemed like it caught him off guard a little bit.
My biggest takeaway from this, and I don't know if this is a hot take, probably not, maybe a mid-warm take, but 2030, that's going to be his 16th season in Formula One. Has he put a time clock on his retirement now? Do we see this guy signing another contract?
I think the more interesting question, or maybe the more correct question is, what has he been told or what does he know as far as the regulations go coming up? Because he was very anti these regulations.
That's
and he
true.
was
That
one
does
of the ones
coincide with the new regs.
Yeah. So is that a sign of the shift back to the V8s or whatever they are still thinking of doing? Is that coming sooner? Or is this a case of they'll definitely come 2030, So just get through to then and then see what the next generation looks like.
That's a good point. Yeah, you wonder if that's it. It also keeps your options open, kind of like what Lewis did, with Ferrari, where you get to kind of scope out who's doing what, and he did it with Mercedes too, before the next regs. Like who's going into 2030, if he's going to make his decision and he goes, I see what Red Bull are doing and I don't like it. I've heard what are doing and I kind of like that better. Like it's pretty smart for someone in his position to line your contract up with the end of a reg set, and you don't imagine he's not going to be the hottest property still at that time.
No.
Especially like that, we've seen that 16 years, it's like we saw with Hamilton, you're still peaking. Like you're still absolutely able to...
You're still in the window, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you're kind of more at the end of it, really.
But you're at that, like, at your peak, you're kind of at that double where you got all the experience and you're not doing dumb shit, but then you've still got the skill set. Your skill set might dwindle down a bit and you may not take the risk, but like what you lose there, you've gained so much in... again, the experience and being in a total fight and the stuff that should have taken Hamilton over the line in 21.
Yeah. So that was the biggest news from the off-season, I guess, if you want to call it news. Speaking of dumb shit, Lando Norris, he won Zandvoort.
Oh, I love a segue.
How does that make you feel? Did you fall asleep watching the race?
Look, I drifted in and out. I call it like 92% of it, maybe like 93%. Definitely caught most of it. I've realized something about me. You know what I'm like. I don't watch a lot of extracurricular Formula One stuff, but like normally, maybe I'll watch the cool down lap, the cool down room, maybe the podium. But I've noticed something when Lando Norris is winning, coming out of the final corner, I'm turning it off. If he's got like a 3-second gap or whatever, and he's not going to just, he may struggle to roll over the. If he's got enough gap where if he fails at the last corner, he'll still roll across the line and win, I'm turning that off. I'm not watching it. I have no interest. Last night, I was dying to turn the TV off. I don't know, when he got the lead, 20 to go, and you could see, even with the VSC, there's just nothing that was going to change the outcome. I was just like, oh my God, I want this to end so bad. Like, I just want this to end so I can go to bed, but I had to watch it in case something happened. But he ran into that final corner. I was like, off bed. See you later.
Do you think there's any... Is there a real chance that he can defend his title from last year? Like,
I don't even know where he's in the championship. Like, I feel like he's such
about 90 points down from Antonelli.
I mean, is this going to be the third year in a row we're going to say someone's going to break a record for the biggest comeback to win it, and it's just not going to happen ever?
I mean,
Norris was in this situation 2 years ago. Yeah. Can Norris break a record and chase down Max with the fastest car, 90-odd points behind, and the guy, not even close. And then Max last year damn well nearly did it. And then, I don't even, like I said, I'm not even paying attention to it. I'm sure they're not even paying attention to it. Like, the Mercedes had every chance to win that race.
Did they? I mean, they didn't look like, I don't know. Antonelli didn't look like his usual self.
He did until that last stint. I don't know what happened in that last stint.
Well, he didn't qualify too great.
He said the car's aero was degrading.
Degrading.
The aerodynamics were degrading on the car. Degrading.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand that. I don't know what that means. I don't even know how to fathom that. Like, it's not an expendable. Aerodynamics is not expendable unless you start crashing the thing. So I don't really know what he means, but that was what he's saying. Like, so it's like something, I don't know if anything's come out. I haven't been looking at anything, but it's almost like there was some kind of a failure in the car or something.
Right.
That slowed him down dramatically in that last stint.
I didn't get the feeling that Mercedes were dominating, or at least as dominant as what they were in the first half of the season. So
absolutely not.
It'll be interesting to see if Zandvoort's a bit of an outlier or whether this is a little bit of a turn, and whether teams like McLaren, who obviously finished the first half of the season quite strong, whether they have brought in upgrades that are really now putting them back up to a level where they can compete with Mercedes. It looks like the Red Bull have nothing, and Ferrari just are kind of just sitting on the cusp, aren't they? It's not like which
is classic Ferrari. This is just where they've been for 10 years.
Yeah, they start off strong. There's a lot of hype around it, but then they kind of just fall off, or they can't keep up with the momentum of whatever it is, upgrades or performance or confidence.
That's exactly what it is.
Upgrades. But McLaren seem like they've kind of just clicked into gear. Unfortunately, it does.
For one McLaren, anyway.
Yeah, it does kind of look more like only one McLaren. The other McLaren, if you want to get off Lando, the other McLaren Oscar Piastri just looks like a shell of himself. I mean, if you're gonna, if we're like every week we talk about there's 4 major teams competing for points, and so somewhere in the 8 you're finishing, whether you're Oscar, and he always seems to be
at the back of that 8.
Yeah, looking like the worst of all of them.
It's really painful. I mean, we see flashes like Q2. I was going to text you all this excitement during. I was Q2 the next morning, as you do, because Australia. I was going to text you during Q2 and be like, is this the return of Oscar? Like, the guy just put a banger lap in. I think he even got pipped at the end of Q2, but it was like, a quarter of a tenth, like nothing. And then we saw the restart, Oscar Piastri on the restart. He made 2 spots in that first lap. That's unheard of. You see flashes of, this guy's still got it. But then it's like, is this back to like 2023 Oscar where the guy can't keep his tyres and can't run a long stint? I don't understand because, again, he just fell away. And it's kind of like Spain earlier in the year where, I don't even know how far he finished behind Lando officially, but golly, it must have been, half a minute, 40 seconds. Like,
this race, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 34 seconds.
Like that is, oh my God, that's unacceptable. It's half a second a lap.
Well, you could see it because he was holding up Leclerc and Hamilton and and George
in the first stint,
for a little bit, and you could just see that Antonelli and Norris are pulling away, and it was like, okay, the guys behind him are clearly faster, but this track gives you no opportunity for overtaking, so they're just stuck behind this slow McLaren, and I was like thinking to myself, there's a part of me that hopes that Oscar can defend this and get a 3rd place, a podium. But I was like, I don't feel great about it. I don't feel like he was out there and looked genuinely like one of the fastest cars out there. Yeah. It looked more like he was hanging on for dear life and was just able to do enough to keep, the cars behind him, but had nothing at all to fight for the 2 in front of him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they did. The commentators did announce a radio call that he apparently said, "What can I do to drive this thing?" or something. We never saw it come up out of his own mouth, but the commentators relayed that radio message. So if he's coming across and just like perplexed on what to do,
well, his post-race interviews were along that line, where he basically didn't really have any answers. It's just like, it's just pace. I'm missing pace, and I don't know where, and I don't know how to fix it.
It was clear as day too. Pace. Like I said, that move he made on George, like he passed Leclerc through the start, turn 1, whatever, past George up to turn 4 or turn 3, and then you could see, getting literally by the end of the lap, he was already many, many car lengths off the car ahead. And like you said, he had the other 2 up his ass. Like it was literally off the go. You're like, wow, this guy, literally, like, you're like, it's just off the pace, doesn't have the pace, just, it's not in any one area. It's not like there's a sector he struggles with. It's just like, gone. He's just gone off the back of Lando.
It's sort of been very classic of Oscar for the last year of like, he has these flashes of brilliance like that overtake on George. And George even said himself he was not expecting him there. And, he didn't look in his mirror. Next thing you know, there's McLaren beside him.
Yeah.
So he has these flashes of brilliance where like, wow, this guy can really drive. But then he'll just fall into these, like, whether it is tire wear issues, or whether he's just still not at one with the car, or these new regs, he hasn't quite figured it out, whether it's battery deployment, I don't know what it is. But he's not being able to then do anything with those flashes of brilliance. Yeah. So, it's a tease. Because, we watch this and we're like, oh, yes, there's the Oscar there that we knew from last year. And then it's kind of like, and there's the Oscar that we know now.
It's so painful because we, said this too many times this year, but you got to think of Daniel Ricciardo, and you got to think what confidence does to a driver. So you got everything Piastri went through last year, which can't help. And then like you said, you have these flashes of brilliance, but then they're backed up with, when he's saying he doesn't know what the problem is, not good. No. Not good at all. How is he meant to generate any kind of confidence?
It's step one of a slippery slope.
Exactly. And then you go, okay, do you change teams? And then where do you go from McLaren at this point, And then the writing is, it might be starting to get on the wall there for Oscar a little. Like, how long do you hang it out? Because I think the team up behind you have said that. There's got to have something to do with these upgrades. Because how did he go from what he was last year to what he is this year? And then, like, it can't help but feel like he's just being wasted at the moment in that car. And I don't know what it is. He doesn't even know what it is. So,
well, I don't know if being wasted in that car is the right way to word that. Like maybe. I definitely agree to some extent.
Well, they're throwing him in a car that clearly is not in his window of operations.
No, I think it's just probably another example of he's always going to be bridesmaid to Lando. He's never going to be the bride of McLaren. And the car is probably tuned up and more suited to Lando, who looks extremely comfortable in there, and to the point now that he is fighting Antonelli, the current championship leader, for wins. And even like a race like Zandvoort, earlier in the season, as soon as Antonelli got the lead, you would have been like, oh, that's game over.
Yeah,
no one's going to catch this kid. He's gone.
Yeah.
But he didn't let him go. He kept fighting for him, staying within the window, waited for his moment and got it and got a win and looked pretty comfortable doing it. Oscar, on the other hand, doesn't have any of that confidence at all. And it makes me worry that is his career, literally, as he keeps backing McLaren and backing the team and backing what they're doing and how they've treated him over this past season, over the past year, really, since the highest high of Zandvoort last year.
Yeah.
Is he now kind of cementing himself as a number 2 driver for McLaren? You know, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, you want to assume every driver on the grid wants to be world champion, and they want to they will do anything to win it. But then you look at the behavior of some drivers, and Oscar's kind of in that point now where you're like, well, is this guy just content being in one of the better teams, making $30 million a year, traveling the world, being a Formula One driver? Because, I mean, I would certainly switch places in a heartbeat for that.
Yeah.
But does he still have the drive and the hunger and the want and the desire to be at the top of the game? You know, I'd hope he is, but so far a lot of the behavior that we're seeing, it's really starting to make me question it. And, you know, I said a couple of rounds ago, it was when the team, you know, bungled his race and then he got taken out by Sainz.
Yep.
I said I wanted him to come out and be angry at the team for putting him in that position and for being treated this way. And he had that, you know, like little radio attack where you go, okay, he does care, he does want it. But then he goes in the media and he undoes it all and he plays nice. And I'd said then, I don't know if I want to watch this. I don't know if I want to watch someone's career go through this.
Again, watch it again.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know if I'm seeing any signs of this changing anytime soon. So
yeah. And now that the Red Bull seat's locked up, and that was the only seat available, like the other seat's going to be occupied by Red Bull drivers.
Yeah. It's looked like that's going to be it, unless his career goes down the route of like Sainz. You know, you've kind of always been pretty good. You've had moments, you've had wins, but you've never really been the number 1 driver in a team and kind of been given a good shot at being a world champion. So
yeah, and that's what I'm scared of, because again, where do you go? Ferrari are not going to, like, they've got Behrman in the wings for when Hamilton hangs it up. Charles is not. They're not sending Charles anywhere. I don't see why he'd leave. You know, and then you got Mercedes, similar sort of issues. I mean, that's maybe his only route. You know,
even then, that's very slim.
Yeah, you'd think with George, like, that would be his only opportunity. But then you're going up and you have the same issue with the next GOAT.
Well, yeah,
sitting beside you. Like, I don't know. He needs to somehow. I don't know how you do it, because it's not his car. He's not in his car.
No,
the car is not his.
No,
you know,
no.
I don't see how he's outrunning Lando in a car that is, you know, the Taylor is there just for him, just for Lando. And then here's Oscar. Here's one of Lando's suits. Make it fit.
Yeah.
Hey, he's not going to outrun Lando like that.
Nope. I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's not like the team's going to turn on Lando either.
No.
You know.
And why would Lando go anywhere?
Yeah.
Unless the car starts to not be the car you want, and then that doesn't work for Oscar either.
All right. So let's move on to Zandvoort itself before we go into the categories. So it's the last time we're racing here, maybe ever. How do you feel about that? Are you kind of sad to see Zandvoort gone, or?
I think so. I think the track, like, I couldn't during qualifying. The most excitement I've had over the entire weekend for Formula One was not the qualifying session, but watching an onboard from qualifying. And you go, man, this place is actually nuts. Like, it's flat out.
It's kind of like a go-kart track on steroids.
Yeah. They got the banking. There's so many fast corners. Like, I was like, yeah, this is a cool onboard to watch. But then, you know, the race, like the sprint race was god awful.
Yeah.
The race itself, fractionally better. And the cars now should be more suited. You know, again, they're a lot smaller. It's a small old school track. And that's the thing about Formula One. What's replacing it? Basically, this Spanish track, which is modern F1. And I'm hoping that's going to be great. But, you know, that is a cookie cutter track like the rest of these modern F1 tracks. And we're losing tracks like Zandvoort. You said yourself, Spa's about to be off the calendar. Like these old school racing circuits that have old school character. Grass, hilly backgrounds, lots of undulation, banked corners, you know. Pretty narrow track, which maybe is not great for F1, but there was a couple of passing opportunities. I'm sad to see it go because of what is going to be replacing it.
I think so. I mean, you pretty much said it best. The sprint race did make me worried, fella. You know, oh boy, what are we in for the race? You know, can I stay awake for 2 hours of this? The answer was no. But it does offer something that's quite different to the rest of the calendar. I don't know the fine details of the contracts, but apparently it was actually the Dutch Grand Prix that didn't renew the contract. So I think they were offered it.
They're paying out of pocket. It's the same with the Nürburgring and the Hockenheimring.
Right.
They were both funded by Mercedes to be on the calendar.
Right.
Because the Germans or, you know, their political parties, whatever, didn't want to front it. So if you know, and if someone wants it on the calendar, which obviously Mercedes did, being German and all the rest of it, they were paying those tracks were on the calendar.
Right.
They were literally paying Formula One the share they needed to have the track on the calendar until they were just like, there's no reason to do this anymore.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what's happening with the Dutch Grand Prix for the last 10 years. Like, yeah, it hasn't been coming from the government paying for its slot. And obviously the organisers of the track itself just didn't want to pay it anymore.
I mean, I guess we'll see with like something like the Madring, you know, if that's an awesome track, I mean, you'll probably pretty quickly forget about somewhere like Zandvoort. But if it's a bit of a dull track, I hope we're not looking back going, oh, I wish I would bring back some of these old classic tracks, you know.
Yeah.
Formula One is changing. It is really changing. Like, this was one of the first races where I watched and I was like, not much here is recognizable, even from just 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like the commentary was really different and flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very dull and boring.
And that's
no
as
real
much as
great insight. You know, like they have a pool of old school drivers and ex Formula One drivers that they're not utilizing or maybe they're going to other places. But, you know, it just did not feel like Formula One. And it kind of makes me, I don't want to sit here on a Formula One podcast and be like, it's not fun to watch Formula One anymore. But they certainly are making it harder and harder. And I don't understand why. Even things like Bernie, I know she's been on the commentary team for a while, but she's really difficult to listen to. And then often, like, sometimes she chimes in with something interesting, but often it's like I just zone out. And I'm like, I don't even know what she's saying anymore. Like,
it can be good insight. Like, my problem with Formula One, and this is, sorry for Formula One, but like this weekend as an example, there's Viet Supercars here in Australia. NASCAR, of course, every weekend. So I've got 3 forms of motorsport to watch. Just fantastic. Great weekend. Barely got off the couch. Just a
Love
hoot.
it. Dream weekend.
Just a hoot.
Yeah.
And the Formula One felt like a chore. Like, I was so excited to get up this morning at 4 a.m. and watch NASCAR. I was so excited all weekend to watch the Viets. But then when it comes to the Formula One, the qualifying and the sprint and the race, and I was like, I felt like I almost had to set an alarm. Like, all right, I have to be there, I have to be watching in front of TV for this podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was, I think that's where it's hardest for me, because you watch these, even V8's had a banging weekend. It's a lot that people talk about with the racing there. It was a banger. And then you watch the Formula One and it's like, I don't know. It's always been very prim and proper and hard to do anything, but you really get a sense of that. And then qualifying, why do they qualify these days? Why don't they just hand out, here's the general top 10 of the year, just pick a card, really, because it's the same session over and over again. Oh, yeah, you got the Cadillacs down the back. Oh, the Audis are surprisingly quick. Yeah, the Astons didn't make Q2. Oh, and the Williams. Cool. All right, let's go into the next session. And then again, it's the same top 8 every time. Like, just do Q3. Just do 10 minutes of qualifying every weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, the slowest 6, but we know. We get it. Just don't even qualify. Save the engine, whatever. Yeah, we get it. just work off averages or something, because qualifying used to be super exciting, and it just doesn't even feel that way anymore.
No. Yeah, I don't. You can't even quite put your finger on it. Like, aside from the quality of racing, which has obviously been questionable with the whole shift to the battery and the push to pass and all this sort of shit, everything else outside of that feels very different. And I don't know if it's better. I think it's like one step forward, two steps back for Formula One.
Yeah.
You know, like, it is kind of funny sitting here and going, the Sky Sports are biased and it's unlistenable, right? And then this weekend we have a very different commentary crew.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, somehow they found a way to make it worse.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say before. We complained about Brundle and Crofty, but then at least for me and probably for you, they've been commentating Formula One for longer than I've been watching it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, like at least that's nice. Like there's some things they say that you're just like, come on. But you enjoy their...
Like Ted, like the difference, if they're kind of positioning someone like Bernie to be the next Ted has all this enthusiasm about him. Like you'll never see a man get more excited about what car has what kind of tires on and leaving the pits than Ted. Yeah. You know, he brings this sense of like urgency and like, you just don't get that with Bernie.
Yeah.
You know, so watching it was, we knew we were going to be in for a tough race. We knew that with the wetness of the track, they even found a way to nullify any excitement around there.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotten too safe. It's gotten too controlled. It's just dull. Everything about it is getting very dull.
That was the other thing I wanted to bring up is, NASCAR V8 Formula 1, there was rain in some way, shape or form in all three of those events. In some way there was rain. But the start of that race, it upset me because there was one sector that was wet. You leave it up to the teams to decide dry or intermediate. And they all chose dry, good. The Max crash, we'll get there. It was a whopper. But I still don't get why it went red. Because, I mean, I think I know why. But they definitely didn't need to look at the barrier. I mean, just ask Max. He'll tell you that shit was concrete. It didn't move. It did not an inch. And there was debris everywhere. But debris cleanup, I mean, Max's flatbed was on the car and Max's car was on the flatbed in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
the car was cleaned up.
And then you got a bunch of guys with brooms out there.
You bunch the traffic up. They take 3 minutes to do a lap. You got 3 minute windows to get in there and brush that shit off. We get the car race going in 10 minutes. But no, they throw the red out. The problem with that is Formula One have no sense of urgency once that red comes out.
No.
They clean the track, double check, triple check, quadruple check the track. Everyone happy, everyone signed off, get a signature from the top dog. Oh, okay, now we'll start our 10-minute procedure to go again. And it's like, God. And track was magically bone dry after that 45-minute cleanup. That could have taken 10 seconds with some council workers. Yeah. Like, that's where it's frustrating. It's like, this is the only excitement we were going to get. We haven't had wet racing all year. Last year, they fucked it up every time it was wet. This was the one chance we were going to get like, and it was exciting. Thank you, Max and Gabe. But give us more of that. You know, put it yellow and go, you know what? Maybe some teams might be like, let's just throw an intro on. Let's just be safe, survive a couple of laps. Leave that up to the teams.
Again, that's kind of like, that goes hand in hand with the dullness, how they're just nerfing the sport entirely. Like, why do you have a formation lap or a sighting lap if you're then just going to have the safety car throw them around and make the decision yourself? That's hard to say.
Clearly.
You know, that's the whole point of the lap, to see what the track conditions are, to know, okay, where do I have to be a little bit careful? Where can I push it? You know, where's the grip? Where's not the grip? So why did we just nullify that all of a sudden? Yeah. You know, that makes no sense to me. Why are we taking an outdoor sport that has always been subjected to weather conditions and just going, as soon as we see some drops, let's delay everything. Let's wait till it dries. Like, I get the whole safety thing, but the sport has been doing this and operating for over 75 years. Yeah. Why are we now not trusting that the drivers can race to the conditions or the teams can strategize to the conditions? Why are we taking that factor out of the sport entirely?
Yeah. And for a sport that struggles, an entertainment sport that struggles for entertainment.
It really makes you mad, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, and even the words, that's the thing about saying, it's all prim and proper. Yeah. 5 minutes before the start, Bernie comes on and says, this race is going to start under safety car. And you're just like, you just sit there and you go, I knew this was coming. Like, the track is fucking dry. And I know it started under, I know she wasn't quite right or whatever, but the fact that they even say those words and you go, I knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. It's not raining. It hasn't been raining for an hour. No. There's some parts of the track that are like a little bit moist.
Are dry.
Yeah. And the teams are starting on dries. This is all their choice. Why would you even consider it? Like, shouldn't even be a consideration, even if it's pissing down rain. No. You know what? The drivers all have a right foot. They all have full control of these cars. They should. Like, no.
Well, the car does half of that shit for them anyway. Like, exactly. Once again, the car is safer and, more, like, there's more information available to you than ever before. You go back to the days of your Nigel Mansells and your Ayrton Sennas and your Alain Prosts. There was none of that. There was a little bit of technology in the car, a little bit of electronics, but they had to race to the conditions and to the feel of the tires on the tarmac.
Yeah.
And
the good drivers knew where the limit was.
Yeah. And like watching the sport today, you just go, we're never going to have that caliber of talent again because we're not breeding drivers to be like that. And we're certainly not making the sport to be that way. You look at guys like Max Verstappen, he's kind of in that sort of cross, like between eras, a little bit of the old school, a little bit of the new school. And you look at him and you think, is that the last real, like, thoroughbred racer? Like a guy who can race in any condition, who can turn any race around no matter what the grip levels are like, who can win from any spot of the grid. We're breeding a whole new generation of drivers that aren't racing in the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what is that going to mean? If there's any side of rain, they're all going to be on the radio going, this is unsafe, I can't do this, like cancel the race, red flag it, whatever it is. That's going to be gone entirely. Can you imagine watching a football game, right, where it's raining and they stop it and go, sorry, boys, it's too slippery, the risk of injury is too high. Exactly. In the sheds, let's wait until it dries up. Yeah. Like, it's
a wet football game is exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's anything different, can happen. It's exciting.
It kind of levels the playing field. It can create more errors. It requires more like concentration and skill. So it's
Formula 1 is just the motorsport equivalent of cricket. Bit of moisture in the air, shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
All right, let's get into the categories. Before we turn everyone off from our... before we convince everyone why they shouldn't watch Formula 1 anymore.
Well... No, it's fine. Right. Formula 1, like I said, I watch Formula 1 on a hope and a prayer that we'll just get back to where we once were. That's all. I'm fine for watching racing. How long is it going to
take, though?
I'm fine. I'm not saying I need contact at every corner, but I want cars to be able to pass. I mean, the Norris pass on, this was all good and fine. It was like, it's disappointing to see. But it was like, that was a genuine overtake. I mean, the bloke had to wrap him up around the outside. Plus, he had Lewis Hamilton dicking around in front of him. Props to him. I was like, cool. I mean, I was also just, real quick. I was pretty disappointed to see the message flash up on the race control. Oscar under investigation for erratic driving. Right. Did you see that? Or did you see that when you were having a nap?
I was probably having a little power nap.
He threw a dummy at Lewis, as in a defensive dummy, and then pulled out of it. Something we see drivers do all the time. I've never once seen a driver investigated for erratic driving. That was what it said, erratic driving, not dangerous driving.
I'm telling you.
It was erratic driving. And I can't tell you how quick it was cleared. It went from noted to it went noted, maybe a lap later, under investigation, and then immediately, no further action. The stewards must have seen it and gone, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
That you just referred this to us? This is a classic. He threw a blocking dummy at him. Lewis went, are we crashing then? I don't get it. And then he backed out of it and let Lewis through. That was how it happened. And they investigated, they referred him for erratic driving.
I'm telling you, this kid's either A, cursed, or B, he pissed off the higher-ups of Formula 1, something big, and he's just paying for it ever since.
I could not believe it. I was like, have they not seen the shit that half these other drivers do, Max included? And I've never seen a driver investigated for erratic driving. So,
but even, if you think about the start of the race, I'm trying to remember if it was if it was the first start or the restart. But I think it was the restart. But Oscar got a good start. George didn't.
Yeah, that was the start.
Yeah, because
it was a bit wet.
And Oscar, throws it up the inside because he's basically that's the only place he can go.
Yep.
George
says no.
George aggressively shut that door and left Oscar nowhere to go, which cost him a position.
It did.
But also meant he had to flick to the left, which forced Leclerc to the left, which forced Hamilton to the left, which forced Max onto the grass. All from this poor start from George, who had quite an aggressive flick over. Yeah. And I was like, wow, how did that not end in disaster?
Or an investigation. Yeah, no, that was a choice. That was a choice for him to do. That was him going, oh, no, and shut that shit off. I can't remember the exact details, and I could be wrong about this, but didn't Oscar get investigated, maybe penalised for some lap 1 shenanigans a couple of weeks ago?
Probably.
And my whole thing was lap 1s normally get, looked at with a very, shit happens approach. Like, you can't, lap 1s are chaotic. That's how they generally get looked at. And I swear he got penalised for some shit a couple of races ago.
Don't forget, he got penalised for slowing down too quickly behind a safety car once.
That's what I mean. I'm like, of course he gets. I was like, erratic driving. Anyway.
All right, cool. Okay, so we're going to run through the categories. Yeah. As we do.
Speed run.
Now, the first category for the Zandvoort Grand Prix is Final Boss.
Oh, yeah.
So, your 3 contenders for the weekend.
Give it to me.
Number 1, Lando. I don't really have anything to add. He won the race, took down the Mercedes, who kind of bungled it, I guess, especially after the sprint race. Clearly looked like the best driver out there. Yep. So, as much as that hurts to say.
Yeah. This is probably the most deserved win I can say that I've watched him have. If I was to say, he did a good job. It's this one.
Yeah, I mean,
he got the pole. He won the initial start, something he never does. He lost the restart, which is something he does all the time. But then he like you said, he rallied back. He stayed within touching distance as much as he needed to, and then he got the job done. In the last stint to make the pass, but then also had the pace where when Kimi got on the better tyres or whatever, made no margin. Yeah, made no impression whatsoever.
Don't get me wrong. I can't give the guy any respect for how he's been treated and how he's acted over the last few years. But he certainly, from what we were privy to, looked very composed and in control. Yeah, we didn't even get the bratty radio stuff this race. So
that's all the props I'm prepared to give to him.
Number 2, contract extensions causing crashes.
I wanted this somewhere. I was hoping this would come somewhere.
Yeah. How often does this happen? Someone re-signs a contract and then they have just the worst race that weekend. Leclerc in Monaco. So he had just extended his contract and then has a terrible Monaco incident.
And at his home track too.
At his home track. And then there you go. Look, Max Verstappen, same exact thing. Both Williams, they just lock down their contracts and then they have a little doozy. Tussle together.
Oh God, we'll get to that.
It just seems to be this running thing that when anyone extends their contract, all of a sudden they have the worst weekend. I'm pretty sure Oscar was the same from memory. I didn't go digging that hard, but this seems to be
for Baku.
This seems to be an ongoing thing. So drivers should be on notice when you extend your contract. You're gonna have a tough round.
Well, George's run of does nothing, gets a podium, pretty much ended around the time he signed a contract last year. Oh, yeah. He was having a stellar year. Toto couldn't say no to the bloke, and they go, "It's fine, we'll sign you." And then he just went nowhere. And here he is losing to Kimi badly.
Number 3, Hulkenberg's avoiding maneuver. So so Gabby spins out of the last corner. Yeah, the onboard footage is just. It's incredible to watch.
It's mega.
You can't see a car anywhere in that cloud of smoke.
And I'd love to know I don't know if they spoke to him, but what made him turn left? I mean, it's all reactions. You couldn't even. I mean, you couldn't even tell you if you wanted.
Well, even when you watched it slowed down, you kind of go, "How did he miss? How did he avoid that? Incredible!"
I mean, he was like committed. He was almost 90 degrees steering wheel right. He was committed right, and then last minute he was like, "Nah, we're going left,"
which makes sense because you're banking right, you're turning right. Kind of, I guess, feels more natural just to get more right. But, I don't know how he did not T-bone Gabby. Incredible work there.
I mean, he made the very late-minute decision, the right decision to turn left, and then the fact that he could actually turn left enough and not lose control and all the rest of it, and to miss the bloke, because he was... that was so close. Like, that was awesome. Anyways, that's Final Boss for sure.
That's final boss?
God, yeah.
Okay.
That's the most impressive. He could have wiped out 2 Audis. There could have been 4 rings all over the floor. And he allowed both cars to survive. And I don't know if he scored points, but...
Well, he did, and that comes up shortly. But yeah, like Max's crash was a doozy, and it left a lot of debris everywhere. And on initial watch, I could have sworn there was 3 or 4 cars caught up in that. The fact that he did that in that corner, in those conditions, with that many cars around, and no one else was effectively caught up in it.
Yeah.
Miracle.
I'll tell you what, I'm surprised because Max, sim racer at heart. What Gabby did, that is a sim racer's move. Spinning,
well, that's
gas that puppy.
That's a classic Verstappen
that
move.
Puppy up.
How many times has he done that?
Yeah. But Max, he overcorrected and just went, God, head on. If that track was back next year, there would be tyres there or something because they probably never anticipated a head-on collision with that wall. With the amount of banking on that corner and all the rest of it, you just would not expect that.
From what I understand, him and Gabby were the only ones down low like that. Every other driver was up high.
Yeah.
It looked like Verstappen touched the inside curb.
Looked like it. It's a bit hard to tell.
Yeah. Either way, being down that low, touching paint or curb, whatever it is, unsettled the car, lost traction, and then it just snaps aggressively to the left.
Yeah.
Like in a pretty high-speed corner. The car, I mean, it's... I think you look at these situations and you just got to have trust that everyone's going to be safe. I think this is the best driver on the grid today who made this mistake. It wasn't one of the rookies or one of the new guys or one of the one-yearers.
Yeah, or Norris.
It was Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
And the car was absolutely cooked, but he walked away unscathed. The sport needs to trust that the engineering, the talent, everything right now has made it safer than ever. Let them go racing,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it, when the wheel tethers snap, that's when it's a big
it's
one.
Violent.
Because those wheel tethers, they're held up to some stuff. Not this time. That puppy was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see the whole internals of the rear brake structure. Like, that was a whack. That was a heavy-duty whack. But it makes sense for the record. Running up higher. I mean, that corner's banked. Which direction does water go? Shit goes downhill. Yeah. The higher up you get, the more likely you're going to find some dry stuff. And you're opening the radius of the corner, less steering angle, things like that.
It's obvious when you say it like that, isn't it? Like, well, duh. But you don't kind of think about it unless you are a racer. It does beg the question, like, why was he forcing this
why
lower
was
line?
He so low? Like, yeah. It, like I said, with that banking, you could almost put minimal steering in and the car would just bite into the banking and go. So if you're getting the higher up you are, the more luck you're going to have in those conditions. As Liam Lawson found out.
I'm happy to give it to Hulkenberg. He doesn't get much credit in his career.
He deserved a Lego trophy for that maneuver.
Okay, so the next category is the noob category. Now, naturally, I have Max crashing here, so we've already covered that. So he's our first contender. The second contender is Williams touching each other. Big no-no. Everyone knows this is a big no-no.
Yeah. Well, you got to say Sainz.
Yeah, he's...
this was all Carlos.
He's becoming a bit of a bad boy, isn't he? A bit of a naughty boy.
Yeah, I mean,
he's getting tangled up in everything these days.
Well, he was pretty outspoken a couple of weeks ago about the Williams and, his disappointment in the car and, there was some words about James Vowles and what the promise was of the car and why he chose that team to where they are now. And then it was shock re-signing. Shock re-signing, to be honest. I mean, where else is he going to go to? But it's all talk with that bloke. And then, you'd think both of them re-signed at the same time, all very exciting, great for Williams, locked down the future. And then that happened. And it was hilarious. I mean, where are they fighting for? Like, second last of the running cars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but I feel like it was 14th, 15th.
Yeah, there's only 16 cars that finished.
The third contender, Lance Stroll. All right. One more Q1 elimination, and he will become the first person in Formula One history to be knocked out of Q1 100 times.
Is that it?
I know. I was actually surprised at that too.
I guess. Is that it? Oh, I thought that'd be way more than that for that bloke.
Well, I mean, either way, no other driver has been in this position.
That's nepotism.
I was going to say, you can only put it down to nepotism.
Yeah. No one else has this much runway.
No.
He's got the longest runway in history.
He's racking up all the unwanted records through his nepotism.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. No one else just gets this just relentless runway to just, Yeah, you're right. We'll get him next time.
Interestingly enough, they pay Alonso more, which is like that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
But,
well, front of pocket. I'm sure nothing's stopping Lance from giving his kid some pocket money.
yeah. Who do you think is the most noob worthy?
What was the second one?
Second one was Williams.
Yeah.
First one was Max
it's
crash.
signs for sure.
It's signs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't, like you said,
Cardinal sin.
Teammates, it's a no-no. He's been in a situation to know that. Like he's, his experience racing at the front with teammates and he cannot hit them. What's he doing racing Albon for 15th and hitting him? I mean, as if that team, they probably thought, okay, this race sucks, whatever, we learned something, pack them up. But no, now they got damage, they got money to pay for new things. It's just like, imagine being, I don't know, the crew of that team and you're just like, seriously? Like,
yeah.
I don't even know if they both end up finishing, but if they did, they both went to the back, no doubt. Like, they had proper damage. And not to mention, just looks stupid.
Yeah,
like, you pay these guys, like, Vowles couldn't speak higher of Sainz for his experience and what he brings to the team. And it was him who makes a desperate lunge, locks up both front tires. Yeah. Like, that's real bad. That's like, oh shit moment.
Yeah.
The second he steps on the brakes, he's like, oh shit. And then just plows his teammate right in front of the leaders too. And Sainz got a history of doing dumb shit in front of leaders.
You hate to see it. Yeah.
So like he's racking them up.
Yeah. Yep.
He must be due for a week off soon.
I'm happy to give it to Williams. I mean, that's a no-no.
Sainz.
And Sainz has really been doing some dumb shit lately. They're far from like their high highs of last year where we were praising them and we were praising Sainz. We were all on the Sainz bandwagon.
Yeah. We thought he was a Q3 participant week in, week out.
Now, like the bloke is he's making just some of the worst mistakes that we're seeing in the sport right now. So, all right. The buffed achievement. Your first nominee is Liam Lawson, P7. Leading Red Bull, obviously, with the Max DNFing ahead of the racing balls, which I think checked all those boxes as he should.
Yeah.
And basically was where he should be bare minimum, right? So if you've got the two Mercs, you've got the two Ferraris, you've got the two McLarens, and you've got the two Red Bulls, the worst you would want to finish there is 8th, and he managed 7th. So I have to give him a nomination. Second, Alonso, P9.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Obviously, again, bit of a crazy race in some ways.
Yeah.
But only one of the major cars didn't finish, right? So that leaves 3 positions up for grabs.
Yeah.
For all the rest. Not in a million years would I ever have put an Aston Martin in there.
No.
And Alonso dragged that thing into the points. So
then they said during quali, I think, that they brought some big upgrades again, and they were shocked when what did he do in, I can't remember if it was sprint quali or the main quali, but he locked up on his last run, flat spot of the tyre, and then had to do his last attempt on that tyre. So then he couldn't actually do anything with it.
Yeah.
And they were all, like the commentary team were like, like we thought he was going to be a lock for Q2. Funnily enough, how exciting that is. So I guess not out of nowhere, but they also said he benefited from not pitting under the VSC at the end.
Right.
Because, I mean, how many cars pitted? A bunch. Hamilton put tyres on that were 9 laps old. They clearly, and softs too, which since when did they last more than 5? Like, they clearly just didn't have the tyre allocation, I guess, for this race. And I mean, that goes, Bernie was saying, she was kind of saying you couldn't do the whole race on one set of hards, but the commentary team thought you could. It ended up being like a 3-stop race, including the red flag pit stop, like 3 sets of tyres.
Yeah.
So I think the track chewed the tyres more than they're expecting. So I don't know if that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because, no one put a fresh tyre on. No one under that VSC. Whether it was a medium, soft, hard, no one had a fresh tyre to put on their car.
And everyone was struggling, except for probably
Lando,
Kimi
didn't make any inroads on Lando with his fresher set of tyres.
No.
And like I said, Lewis putting on a 9-lap old set of tyres. That's crazy. I don't know if that was a mistake from Ferrari or what. But
well, I mean, you never know with Ferrari.
Those tyres have some age.
Yeah. Yeah. So when do you ever want to hear that? We put some, new set. How many laps are on these ones? 9.
We just took a set off that had 7 laps on these hards. Took them off for a set of 9-lap old softs.
The final nominee is Hulkenberg. best of the rest, P8. So he finished just behind Lawson there. Got
So
that
you're
Audi
7,
up
8,
in the
9.
points.
Oh, you're buffed.
Yes.
That's crazy. Look, I definitely want to give it to Alonso. I mean, of those three, he's easily got the worst car.
Easily.
I mean, one's in a fucking Red Bull.
Yeah.
So I want to give it to Alonso. But on the Lawson note, I wonder if it didn't matter what car he was in this weekend. I think he would have come 7th with a Racing Bull.
Interesting.
Well.
That's an interesting take.
So do I think he should have done better in the Red Bull?
Well, do you?
Nah. Not his skill set. I mean, where was Max running? Fourth? Well, I think actually Max qualified one position ahead of him. So I definitely don't think he had any more to give. But
I think it says more. All right, I'm happy not to back Lawson because I think it says more about the regulations when you can have Yuki come in who hasn't raced a lick of these cars in this year, and he finished just outside the points in 11th.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show that these are obviously very easy machines to.
The fact that he's obviously done a shit ton of sim, and he's been very easily able to transfer what he did in the sim to the car. And that's the point. The sims are meant to be very accurate, very realistic, but it probably shouldn't quite be that easy. I mean, I had the same thought. I'm like, how do you just sub into these cars? The amount of beeps and bops you've got in your helmet and don't press this button, but press that button and this does that and the knobs here and dials that. And like, it's not like, oh, he raced last year, it's fine. It's like, no, these cars is completely different from the year before. You know, we said at the start of the year, they're having to run lower gears than normal to keep the energy, recharging at a decent rate. Yeah. So the fact that he's able to, I mean, I almost want to say he's the buff to be a sub straight in. And if Alonso didn't do what he did, like he's probably getting points, Tsunoda, on debut.
I thought about it.
I thought about debut on sub.
Yeah, I thought about it, but then I was like, well, he still finished out of the points, so really it means nothing.
It does. Yeah. If you got that point, it's funny because he's going to be 23rd in the championship. But if you got that point, it would have ramped him up to, I don't know, 16th, whatever the amount of drivers that has got a point.
Well, I'm happy to rule out Liam Lawson because he basically did what he should have done.
Yeah. I mean, his Racing Bull has almost been as good as the Red Bull a lot of times through the year. And I don't know what differences may really be between the two, like whether he could have done better in the Racing Bull because it's his own car that he's been in all year.
Certainly, it does seem like there's not a lot of difference between those two teams. So,
I mean, the amount of times the Racing Bull has outperformed like Hadjar.
Yeah.
So,
Hulkenberg or Alonso? Who do you want to look in?
Alonso. I think we gave Hulk, lap one antics.
We gave him final boss.
His final boss, and because of that, he got through to the points, which is fantastic. So it's an all-in-one encompassing final boss for his whole race. Alonso for sure, like you said, out of nowhere, you look at the leaderboard through the race, and it's like, boy, he's ninth. So,
all right, you got the last two categories.
I got the last two categories. I'll take it.
Lay them on me.
Now we didn't communicate, so there might be some double ups.
Okay.
Before this,
right?
So, anyway.
Right.
So nerfed. George Russell, due to team orders.
Yeah, that would have hurt.
And also very unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they did it. And I'd love to know what kind of questions George would have.
Oh, well, times are changing. I think we already knew that, though.
Kimi, I don't think Kimi would have passed him. Kimi would not have passed him. Kimi was definitely in no fight for the lead. I don't know if it's like we chose to pit him under the VSC, but then, tough tits. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So there's George Russell, nerfed by his own team. Oscar Piastri's restart brilliance.
Yeah.
Nerfed. Or I just had Williams nerfing themselves.
All right. Well, I think George. George, not even just for that one thing. I think, getting team orders to move over for your championship rival basically says you're not in the championship fight at all.
Yeah.
So that hurts.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
And then the second part of that is he looked pretty confident and pretty in control for the sprint race. And then to have it undone in the actual race when it really matters, I think it's just hilarious.
He got passed by Oscar. If he didn't, it's a different race, I think. If he doesn't spend that whole first stint, because it was the whole first stint behind Oscar, and he doesn't let them get 10 seconds up the road or whatever it was. So, you got to be on your toes.
Well, because he was looking good before the restart, wasn't he? And then in the restart, that's when things really got worse for him.
Yeah, I think he held, what was he, second or third off the initial start. And then, he dropped to fourth, definitely, after the restart with Oscar getting through. Yeah, and like I said, you got to be on your toes. I mean, Oscar just caught him napping. Yeah. Oscar just went, gap. My car fits. See you later.
Yeah.
You know, it's brilliant. So, and if that doesn't happen, he's probably hanging on to that lead group. So, but yeah, those team orders, I can't understand it, to be honest. I mean, we know a lot about team orders and when they should or should not be applied, in our opinion. But
it really says, at the end of the day, it says, we think Lando's more of a championship threat to Antonelli than you.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Antonelli's got a decent enough lead just to keep the peace. They could have been like, you're free to fight it out, because at the end of the day, it's 3 points.
Yeah.
Swing, but
it's not
between
worth
second or third.
Upsetting.
Exactly. I mean, could you imagine being George? I'd love to know, from what we heard on the radio, he didn't put up much of a fight. He kind of asked, is Kimi going to go get Lando, is he?
It almost
like
seems
12
like
seconds up the road.
I almost wonder if he's accepted his fate. I wonder if he thinks like, you know what? This kid is something else. I don't think I can, like, maybe next year. Next year I can do it.
No way. That's not happened.
No.
He's way too blaming everything else. Nothing's my fault.
Right.
That's what he's into.
All right. We'll give it to George.
Yeah. All right. And AFK. So the A teams, the pit stops. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, they were.
Every pit stop was a... left rears were just bad on every stop.
Yeah.
Like...
They obviously weren't practicing in the summer break, that's for sure.
A bit of rust. That was crazy. I mean, it cost Piastri initially anyway, P3. Mm-hmm. They gave him a bad stop, and then he got undercut by Mercedes. And then it wouldn't have mattered because he had no pace anyway. But so pit stops all over the board were just bad. Max's wet masterclass. Mm-hmm. That was AFK. Mm-hmm. We always expect big things from Max in the wet. He did not show up. Or rain in qualifying, despite the end of the sprint raining. And I texted you. I was like, all right, we missed out on rain in the sprint. Like, it literally started raining when he crossed the line. That's a bummer. But raining now, was it 3 hours to quali? I was like, surely quali's wet.
Yeah.
Bone dry, pristine, lovely.
Yep. And then just as they finished it, it was pretty torrential, I think, from memory. Or was that the sprint?
That was the sprint. But definitely, they were worried about Q3 ran quite quick. They turned the cars around quick to get it back out for their second run because the threat of rain was real. So, God.
I like giving this one to the pit crews because that was abysmal. Once again, these are supposed to be the best of the best, the pinnacle of motorsport, and no one could seem to get it right over the weekend. So, and
you only normally see McLaren really blunder this up on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
This was every team, and even the commentators like, what is going on here? Like, every stop is just, not on the money.
No. All right, what's your Easter egg from the weekend?
Well, because, as we know, we haven't talked about it, but Hadjar giving out too many wristies. He's joined the Stroll family. And the Ricciardo, maybe, arguably. Yeah. These F1 drivers just got to settle down. Settle down with their wristies. So he's done his wrist.
Or maybe they need to give more wristies and strengthen those bad boys up.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sure Norris has the strongest wrist out there. So anyway, because of that, Tsunoda was in the field. So couldn't help it when I was going through qualifying, just look down the list and just go, man, including Hadjar, who's not in this race, but there is 9 Red Bull drivers on the grid.
9 Red Bull drivers?
Yeah.
On a grid of 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that, like, I know, this has sort of been spoken about before, how many Red Bull drivers are contaminating the grid, but now in a 23 driver championship, as it is now, thanks to Yuki, 9 of their puppies are Red Bull people.
That's
Red Bull drivers incredible. In the past.
I think that says more about Red Bull's driver development than anyone else. Because why can no one else develop drivers to the same caliber as Red Bull? And is that why every other team's picking up the crumbs and not backing or developing their own drivers?
Well, I guess that's
insane.
An interesting way to look at it, because you've got the other big teams who have their own development paths in a way. No Red Bull drivers fill those seats. I mean, Sainz did at one point, but Ferrari don't have Red Bull drivers at the moment. Neither do Mercedes. So those teams that kind of have their own driver development path, aren't relying on Red Bull. But every other team is like...
But even still, other teams, right, they don't have as many drivers from their driver development programs compared to Red Bull, obviously.
Yeah, so you're right. So all the other teams are like, what are you doing with Pierre? What are you doing with Alex Albon there?
Oh, you threw away Lawson. What do you want from him?
So there's 9. Can you name all 9?
Oh, can I name it all 9? Okay, all right.
I gave you a couple names already.
Yep. All right. So you got Verstappen, obviously. Mm-hmm. You've got, hang on, all 9, including Hadjar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. 23 driver championship we have now established.
Verstappen, Hadjar.
Yep.
Lindblad, Lawson.
Yep. Start with the easy ones.
Yep. Sainz, Albon,
Yep, the third Red Bull team.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, true. They're literally made up of all ex-Red Bull.
Yeah.
What am I up to? 6? Am I up to 6?
Yeah, 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I got 3 more drivers.
Yep.
Perez.
Yep.
And then there's 2 more.
Yep.
I feel like
one's French and one's a super sub.
Gasly. Yep, Gasly. Because I haven't said him yet.
No. Yeah.
Super sub, huh? I don't know if I can get this one. Super sub would be... Oh, Sonoda. Sonoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, nine
wow.
of them. I mean, like you said, 22 drivers. God, it's quite impressive. And like, I don't know if it's just impressive of Red Bull. Like every one they bring through is Formula One ready. They're just not Red Bull ready. They're not good enough for us, but they're good enough for you guys.
Yeah.
Like you go have it. You go. We brought them up for you guys. We're just farming drivers for the whole category.
That's impressive. I think props to Red Bull on that one.
I mean, we know Alpine. They've got 11,000
it's basically
drivers.
a Red Bull championship at this point.
Yeah, the Red Bull Reject Championship. Yeah, Alpine have like 10 reserve drivers, and none of them can get a look in on the grid. And Red Bull are just like, take them all.
All right, my Easter egg was one I don't really want to talk about too much, but we are now over a year since Oscar Piastri's last victory. How quick a year has gone. So
it's been a depressing 12 months.
It has been a dreadful 12 months. Zandvoort obviously had a dominant weekend. I believe Norris DNF'd that weekend.
Yep.
And we were sitting here going...
It was like a 39-point lead championship.
Yeah, he's done it. How can he lose from here? Well, we saw how we could lose from here, and that trend has continued on into this season. So it has been an abysmal 12 months.
He definitely taught us how you can lose a championship.
Oh, yeah.
In 2 months or 3 months.
All right, so that was Zandy for the last time, possibly ever, it might seem like.
Well, with Max, with Max not going to be on the grid for much longer, like 4 years at least. But beyond that, who knows? Like they said, Max is the only reason this track came back.
Yeah,
and with Max eventually going to be off the calendar, off the grid, and the track already off the calendar, I don't think it's come back. I think it's done.
A little bit of a shame.
It takes COVID to bring some of these tracks back.
And of course, he DNFs and exits early as well.
Oh, God, imagine the fans.
Yeah, gutted.
Shed a tear for the fans.
Yeah,
we remember we had it in Australia.
At least they had a dominant driver at their home Grand Prix for some time.
Yeah, he won 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
that's true.
So we don't know what that's like.
We didn't even get to see Oscar race 1 lap this year.
No.
Or half lap.
No,
so they got something that we didn't.
So next week is an off week, as you pre-recording looked into, and then we go straight into a doubleheader, which we may or may not be around for. It's looking like we may not be around for, so we'll keep you updated. If holiday plans interfere with the pod.
Yep.
But at some point we'll be back on and we'll go through the races and
run it down.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Oscar's changed his form. It's not looking likely though.
He's got to start walking, under ladders and past black cats and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, clearly.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah,
bit of witchcraft.
Got some bad juju. So as always, thanks for hanging out, listening to us chat about F1. It's always a pleasure. It's nice to see you again, Timmy.
Oh, you too. Nice to be back on camera with you.
Yep. And until next time, like, subscribe, and follow the channel.
Sweet. All right.
GG's.
All right. See you next time.